Hello everybody, hope you're having a great day. Well, as you can see, I'm in the mood for some chocolate cake, and I wanted to make chocolate cake from scratch and the frosting from scratch as well. And it's a very small cake, it's only a chocolate cake for two, and I think it's a good idea to be able to make smaller desserts, especially if you're not trying to feed a big family. And so this works out just right for my wife and I. And so I wanted to share this with you and show you how to make it in case you want to. Well, it begins with a small cake pan. This is a 5 by 2 inch cake pan, and you will need that if you're going to make a small cake. And you start with 1 egg, get that into a mixing bowl, and then you want to beat the egg. I hope things are going well in your world and that you're stocking your pantry. These are some basic items that you need to have in your pantry. And so after you get the egg beat or beaten, then we want to add sugar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tablespoons of regular table sugar. Okay? And you can adjust this to your own personal taste and then give this a quick stir. If you like it sweeter, there's kind of this standard cake sweetness level that you get with all the different cake mixes. And I'm kind of shooting for that, but if you like yours less sweet, well, put a little less sugar. And now it's time for some flour. This is regular all-purpose flour, and we're going by tablespoons. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's just about enough. 4 tablespoons of regular all-purpose flour. Simple, huh? Okay, give this a quick stir, and you don't have to be very thorough with it. You just want to kind of stir it as we go along. I'm not going to use an electric mixer. Everything's by hand, so that's fine. Next up, the stuff that makes it chocolate. Cocoa powder, 1 tablespoon. Oh, and you need to have this in your pantry. Cocoa powder, 2 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons. And you can adjust that as well. And baking powder. We're going to put 1 teaspoon of baking powder. If you like yours more chocolatey, of course, you can add more cocoa powder. And a little bit of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then vanilla extract. And I hope you have some good vanilla extract. Putting in 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then oil. You can use any kind of cooking oil you have. I'm using olive oil. That's 3 tablespoons of oil. And then milk. This is 3 tablespoons of whole milk. I've already measured it out. Simple. And then we mix it together, and you have to just start, and you just take your time, work it slow, and it'll slowly transform, and you just stay after it, and eventually it'll mix together. You see that? Looks good. That's the consistency you want, nice and thin. And then I get a little Crisco, and I want to put some oil shortening in the pan. You can use spray if you prefer. And then all we do is pour it into this little pan. It's a 5 inch by 2 inch deep baking pan. And this comes up about halfway. Just like that. Now I have been preheating my countertop oven, this little oven. You want to tap out the air bubbles, give it a good tap. And what I'm going to do is cook this at 300 degrees for 30 minutes. But you will have to experiment with your countertop oven. to see what's the right combination of temperature and time. But if you have one exactly like this, 30 minutes later, it will look like this. And we'll give it the old toothpick test. You know, if it comes out clean, just like that, it's done. But you have to be careful not to cook it too long or it just dries out, and no one likes dry cake. So we'll bring it over and put it on a cooling rack and let it cool for 30 minutes. I'm going to set a timer, 30 minutes before you try to do anything. And with about 10 minutes left to go on that cooling time, I'm going to begin and make the frosting. We start with 3 tablespoons of room temperature butter. And to that, we're going to add powdered sugar. 1 tablespoon, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And then the cocoa powder. 1 tablespoon, 2, and 3, and 4. 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And a little bit, about a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then 2 tablespoons of whole milk. That's all you need. Oh, and a dash of salt. But you can leave that out if you want to. I always put a little dash of salt in it. And then get a fork, and you want to start breaking up the butter and trying to get the milk, the liquid, to begin to mix in with all the dry ingredients. And so you break it up and mix it up, and you just work it like this. And all the ingredients will be listed in the information box below. Please check that out. All those ingredients are there. And I do appreciate you watching my video, and I hope you share my videos. That's very important. Now you can see it's still kind of lumpy. And so what you want to do at this point is pop it in the microwave for 10 seconds. And that warms up those leftover pieces of butter and gets them to melt. And then you go back to mixing it again, and it will smooth right out. Very simple. Look at that, beautifully smooth frosting for this cake. All right, the timer is up. It's time to get the cake out of the pan. You run a knife blade, this is just a butter knife, along the edge of the little cake pan like that. And then because we use the shortening, it should come right out of this little cake pan. So I have a paper towel on a plate just to catch some of the crumbs. And I'm going to cut the top off, use the top of the cake pan as a guide, just to give it a little bit more of a flat spot. It doesn't cut the entire top off, but it cuts off just a little bit. So there we have a flat spot. And we'll turn this cake out on this paper towel, and that's to catch some of the crumbs. And then dust some of those crumbs off, and then we want to put it on a plate so we can put the frosting on it. Turned it right side up, and then apply the frosting, and it should be pourable like this. It's a very thick, but it's pourable, and it spreads really easy. Put that on, and then spread it out and get it looking as good as you can. I'm not that good at decorating or putting icing on a cake, but that's okay. Do the best that you can. That's all I do. And now I'll cut it and let you take a look inside. A beautiful, small, 5-inch chocolate cake. Just the right size, really, for 2 people. Or even for 3. You could cut this in thirds. But the beauty of making a cake like this from scratch is you can custom tune it to your own particular flavor. The way you like the chocolate to taste, the frosting to taste. Look at that, beautiful. So good and moist and chocolatey. Anyway, I like it. And it's nice to be able to make cake from scratch and not have to depend upon a cake mix from a box. Well, that's how you do it. This won't last long. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye now.